Okay, let's begin. Number 8. Cracking your neck too hard. In a quiet room, a person turns their head and feels the familiar pop at the base of the skull. That sound comes from gas bubbles shifting in the joints between the vertebrae. A harmless release most of the time. But a sharp twist, especially when done forcefully or repeatedly, can stretch the arteries that run through the spine toward the brain. When the movement goes too far, the inner wall of a vertebral artery can tear. Blood enters the damaged layer and forms a clot, cutting circulation to parts of the brain within seconds. This is called a vertebral artery dissection. The first signs are sudden neck pain, dizziness, or a strange visual blur. In rare cases, collapse follows almost immediately as the brain is deprived of oxygen. Doctors have documented patients who suffered strokes minutes after casual self-manipulation of the neck. Most survive, but some lose consciousness before help arrives. The risk is small, yet real enough that neurologists warn against forceful twisting. One misplaced turn can change a routine stretch into a vascular emergency. Number 7. Holding in a sneeze. It begins as pressure building behind the eyes. Out of reflex or politeness, a person clamps their mouth and pinches their nose to stop the sneeze. In that instant, the air pressure that should have escaped at nearly 100 miles per hour reverses direction, forced inward through delicate sinus and ear structures. When that pressure rebounds, it can rupture a small blood vessel or tear the lining of the throat. Medical records describe cases where suppressed sneezes caused perforated eardrums, torn pharyngeal tissue, or air leaking beneath the skin of the neck. The force can reach levels high enough to damage the tiny vessels near the eyes or brain. These injuries appear suddenly, often accompanied by pain, dizziness, or bleeding. Fatal events are extremely rare, but the mechanism is immediate. Trapped air seeking release through the body's weakest point. Most of the time it ends in discomfort. Yet, a single stifled sneeze has been enough to send patients to surgery within minutes. Number 6. Holding your breath too long. In calm water, the body can turn silent against itself. A swimmer takes one last breath, exhales slightly, and sinks beneath the surface. Oxygen levels begin to fall, but the urge to breathe is suppressed by practiced control or misplaced confidence. For a time, everything feels steady. Then the brain begins to fade. When oxygen drops below critical levels, consciousness fails without warning. It happens in seconds, often before the swimmer feels distress. This is shallow water blackout, a form of hypoxic loss caused by prolonged breath holding. As the person faints, the body reflexively inhales, drawing in water instead of air. What follows is drowning before rescue can begin. Investigators reviewing unexplained pool deaths often find no sign of struggle, only a swimmer, motionless, at the bottom. Most victims are fit, experienced, and unaware that hyperventilation or forced breath holding can delay the urge to breathe long enough to cause blackout. The entire sequence, from calm descent to silence, can unfold in less than half a minute. Number 5. Standing up too fast. It happens in an instant, sitting, then rising too quickly. Blood that should rush to the brain falls toward the legs under gravity. For a few seconds, pressure in the arteries drops sharply, and the brain receives less oxygen than it needs. The result is a brief blackout called orthostatic hypotension. Vision narrows, hearing dulls, and balance fades. If the person remains upright, consciousness can vanish entirely. When that occurs near hard flooring, stairs, or furniture, the fall can be fatal before recovery begins. Head impacts from standing fainting spells are a documented cause of sudden death, particularly among older adults or those dehydrated or medicated. The event passes quickly, usually within seconds, but those seconds define the outcome. Most regain stability after a pause. Some never do. What begins as a harmless, dizzy rush can end as a catastrophic head injury on a bathroom tile or concrete floor. Number 4. Mixing cleaning products. In a closed bathroom, someone scrubs a sink with bleach and reaches for another bottle to finish the job. The second cleaner contains ammonia. When the two liquids meet, they react instantly, releasing a pale vapor that fills the air within seconds. The invisible gas is chloramine, a compound that burns eyes, throat, and lungs on contact. With each breath, the gas reacts with moisture in the airways to form acid. Coughing begins almost immediately, followed by chest pain and suffocation. In higher concentrations or small spaces, even a few inhalations can cause lung failure and loss of consciousness. The same reaction, intensified, produced chlorine gas used in chemical warfare a century ago. Emergency reports describe cleaners collapsing before they can escape bathrooms or basements. Survivors often suffer permanent lung damage. The warning is simple and chemical. Bleach should never mix with ammonia or acids. In moments, a common cleaning routine can turn into a lethal gas release. Number 3, sneezing while driving. At highway speed, a sudden sneeze closes the eyes for less than a second. The hands tighten on the wheel, but vision is gone. The car moves nearly 30 meters blind. In that distance, a vehicle can cross lanes, strike a barrier, or rear-end another car before the driver opens their eyes again. The body's reflex makes sneezing uncontrollable. Muscles in the chest and diaphragm contract violently, pushing air out at speeds over 100 miles per hour. During those seconds, awareness and reaction time collapse. On crowded roads, that gap is enough to end control of the vehicle entirely. Crash data from transport agencies include hundreds of incidents linked to momentary distractions such as sneezing or coughing. The sequence is mechanical, not dramatic. One reflex, a brief loss of sight, and the laws of motion taking over. In traffic, even a single involuntary sneeze can be fatal before the driver has time to react. Number 2, charging your phone while showering or sleeping. A phone rests beside a sink or on a bed, charging through a worn cable. In the background, unseen current moves through thin insulation carrying 220 volts. When water or sweat bridges that gap, electricity follows the fastest path to ground, often through the body holding the device. Electrocution is nearly instantaneous. The current passes through skin, nerves, and heart tissue in less than a second. Cardiac arrest or respiratory paralysis can occur before the victim has time to release the phone. Documented cases from Europe and Asia describe people found unresponsive beside bathtubs or beds. The cable burned through at the point of contact. Modern phones use low-voltage batteries, but the danger lies in the charger and the mains connection. Damaged cords, counterfeit adapters, and humid surfaces create conditions where protective circuits fail. In that moment, a common act, scrolling while charging or answering a call in the bath, becomes a direct electrical path capable of killing instantly. Number 1, using metal in a microwave. A plate enters the microwave with a fork left on its edge. When the power starts, invisible waves excite the metal surface, forcing electrons to jump between points. The result is a sudden electrical arc, a spark hotter than flame, that flashes across the cavity in less than a second. That spark can ignite nearby food or packaging, setting fire inside the oven before the door is opened. If the container is sealed, the rapid buildup of heat and pressure can cause glass or plastic to explode outward. Burns and small kitchen fires are the most common outcomes, but in confined spaces, ignition can spread within moments. Manufacturers warn against metal for this reason. The reaction is not gradual, but electrical, a surge of energy released instantly as the current reflects off metal surfaces. What begins as reheating leftovers can, through one forgotten utensil, turn a kitchen appliance into a source of combustion in seconds. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. If you want more videos like this, please subscribe to the channel.